Hi, my name is Cal Warriner with the law firm of Searcy Denny. I'm here today to talk to you a little bit about Stryker's recall of its Rejuvenate hip implant system. After only 3 short years since Stryker launched the Rejuvenate system, Stryker's new flagship hip implant line, they have abruptly issued a voluntary recall for the device. This news came as no surprise to us at Searcy Denny because we have been investigating Rejuvenate cases for months. During that time, we have spoken to many Rejuvenate victims who seem to tell exactly the same story. Most of our clients say they specifically chose the Rejuvenate system because they had seen the publicity about problems patients were having with metal-on-metal implants. This wasn't a hard sell for them since most of their orthopedic surgeons had stopped implanting metal devices already. Unlike those devices, the Rejuvenate typically employs a ceramic ball that fits into a socket with a plastic liner. Since no metal is rubbing on metal, there should be no problem. Both patients and their doctors felt the Rejuvenate was a safe alternative to devices with metal balls and metal sockets. Unfortunately, the Rejuvenate is what's called a modular system. Unlike virtually all other hip implants that are one piece, the Rejuvenate is a two-piece system. The metal stem, or part that is implanted into the thigh bone, and the metal neck, which connects that stem to the ball, are two pieces. How these are connected and how they fail are the subject of another video. But suffice it to say, it is at this junction where the neck meets the stem where this device is failing. The Rejuvenate implant ends up causing the same exact problems as metal-on-metal devices. It's sad but ironic that patients are suffering from exactly the problems they took specific steps to avoid. Our clients' medical records document that the Rejuvenate caused heavy metal poisoning. Most of my clients have elevated levels of cobalt in their blood. Many had MRIs that showed an abnormal collection of fluid around their implant. When you review their operative reports, the findings are very consistent. Most experienced soft tissue destruction. The tissue around the muscle, around the client's implants, showed evidence of necrosis. In some cases, the doctor was forced to debride or cut away portions of dead tissue. In some cases, large pseudotumors formed around the client's implants. A pseudotumor is a large collection of turbid, milky-colored thick fluid. On X-ray, it looks a lot like a tumor, and that's why they call it a pseudotumor. In April of this year, Stryker issued an urgent field safety notice telling surgeons and hospitals that the Rejuvenate had been linked to excessive metal debris from corrosion at the neck stem junction we were just talking about. In Stryker's own words, it said that this can lead to adverse local tissue reaction, including metallosis, necrosis, which leads to pain. They said this may lead to the need for revision. To date, the government has received over 60 adverse event reports filed by doctors complaining about the Rejuvenate failing. That number has been increasing dramatically since the beginning of 2012. These reports tend to be filed in groups, which means that doctors are having multiple failures. We at Searcy Denny represent several clusters of patients who have had their Rejuvenate put in and then removed by the exact same doctor. What you also may find interesting is that our clients have been talking to their doctors about this problem. Even before the recall, most doctors had told their patients that they quit using the Rejuvenate because of problems they had in their practice. They have also told us that their doctors have been personally complaining to Stryker about how bad this device is. One even told his patient that he had personally spoken to the president of Stryker about the problems he'd been experiencing with the Rejuvenate. All of this helps explain why Stryker has pulled the plug on the Rejuvenate implant. In Stryker's recall notice, they admit that they are recalling the product because of abnormal metal wear and adverse local tissue reactions. These are the same reasons they put in the urgent field safety notice I told you about that they sent in April. Remember I told you that this is a voluntary market recall. That is a huge step for a medical device manufacturer. They hate the word recall and will do anything in the world to avoid a full-blown recall. Typically, when manufacturers begin to smell a rat with one of their devices, they simply redesign it and quit selling the old model. If pressed, they may call that a market withdrawal, but that does not have the same stigma that a market recall does. Unless a device manufacturer thinks that the FDA is going to force a recall, they usually won't issue a voluntary recall. So Stryker must have received an awful lot of damaging evidence over the past couple of years and months to prompt this abrupt recall. We at Searcy Denny are very committed to helping those affected by the Stryker recall. For the latest information, check back here.